How do you deal with that as a family?
Well, we don't, in many respects, need to deal with it.
While checking and listing the items at Windsor Castle, Princess Anne finds a small safe that is not recorded in the official lists. Inside it, she discovers the final handwritten letter of the late Queen Elizabeth II. In the letter, the Queen shares her deep suspicion that Queen Camilla has been misusing a royal charity fund. She believes Camilla has been using the excuse of European cultural heritage development to secretly send money to Luxembourg and Switzerland for her own property investments. The Queen gives Anne the quiet task of investigating this matter, trusting fully in her daughter's strong honesty and firm character. A harsh and determined search begins at once. Quietly trapped by Anne, a frightened Camilla orders all server data to be erased to hide the truth and silence anyone involved. But she does not realize that this act of destruction creates clear digital proof, slowly tightening like a rope around her own neck. When her kind and gentle image finally breaks apart, what harsh punishment will King Charles give? How severe will her reality become when she is stripped of her freedom and kept under house arrest under the false excuse of health problems? And what final price must be paid for betraying the Queen's last wish? The private storage room in the east wing of Windsor Castle is a place no one is allowed to enter. This area never sees sunlight, never hears the footsteps of guards, and is covered in the heavy silence of many centuries of sealed history. The air feels thick with the smell of old paper, decaying wood, and the wet, stale feeling of passing time. Princess Anne kneels on the cold stone floor, personally checking and listing the last belongings of the late Queen Elizabeth II. This is not a job ordered by the throne. It is a personal duty, a responsibility tied to her bloodline that Anne has chosen to carry herself. She understands very clearly that during any change of power, even the smallest gap can give greedy people a chance to grab at the family's legacy. As her hand moves across a dark corner under a large cedar wardrobe, and suddenly stops. The sharp instinct she has built from living her whole life inside palace walls tells her something is not right. The hand-woven wool rug in this spot feels loose in a strange way. Its edges are not tightly fixed to the brass trim like the rest of the rug. Using her strong fingers, Anne pulls at the binding ribbon. The rug lifts up. Under it, a perfectly square wooden floorboard appears, carefully cut and matched in color so well that it blends completely with the floor. Without wasting any time, Anne pulls the wooden board open. Beneath the layer below, there is a small steel safe, grey, cold, and silent. Anne's eyes grow darker. A cold feeling runs down her spine. Every single item in Windsor Castle, from old silver forks to unknown portraits, has been carefully recorded and stored in the archives for hundreds of years. But this steel safe is completely unrecorded. It exists on no document, no map. There is only one person who had enough power and care to hide something like this in the very center of the monarchy without anyone ever knowing, the Queen. With a deep understanding of her late mother's habits, Anne reaches for the keypad. She does not need to try twice. Her fingers firmly enter the birth date of Prince Philip, the only man the Queen fully trusted without doubt. The light turns green. The heavy steel door slowly opens. Inside, there is no extra crown. There are no expensive pearl necklaces, no diamonds, no documents of land ownership. In the small space lined with black velvet, the only thing resting quietly is a thick envelope sealed with red wax and marked with the old royal crest. Anne takes the letter out. The thick paper feels rough under her fingers. She breaks the wax seal. A neatly folded paper is revealed. Her mother's familiar handwriting appears before her eyes, but the dark red ink looks sharp and spreads like a deadly warning. This is not a loving goodbye or emotional farewell. It is a serious and painful accusation. Every line written by the late Queen cuts like a sharp blade, revealing a cruel crime and damaging the very roots of the royal family. The Queen writes about her deep suspicion regarding the Royal Charity Fund, her own creation built over many years to help weak orphanages and historical sites that are in desperate need of support. This fund, since being handed over to Queen Camilla, has been turned into a cruel system that drains resources. The letter clearly and firmly states that Camilla is using the grand name of European cultural heritage development to secretly take millions of pounds from donations. This stolen money never reaches preservation groups or needy children. Instead, it is taken, hidden, and secretly moved across borders, flowing into hidden accounts in Luxembourg and Switzerland. The final place where those charity funds end up are extremely expensive real estate properties and luxurious villas that are used to build Camilla's own separate and personal financial empire. The woman who carries the title of Mother of the Nation is taking the people's hard-earned money, their blood, sweat, and tears, to satisfy her endless greed. The letter ends with a secret and painful command. The Queen does not give this task to Charles, a man whose judgment is clouded by love. Instead, she gives this entire harsh truth to Anne, the only one who carries a bloodline of honesty that cannot be bent or bought. Her final wish before dying is not to protect a false image of peace, but to bring the thief into the open and cut off the roots of betrayal. Anne slowly folds the letter. Not a single tear falls from her eyes. Any sign of weakness or sadness disappears at once, replaced by a cold and frightening anger. The crime has now been clearly named. The person sitting on the throne beside her brother, the one who smiles for the media cameras day and night as the kind and caring mother of the nation, is in reality nothing more than a disgusting and corrupt figure. Camilla is stepping over the Queen's final wish, using the royal image to fill her own pockets, and places the letter deep inside her coat. She straightens the fabric, her eyes sharp like a blade, looking down the long and endless corridor. The main issue is now clear. She will not allow an outsider to continue draining her family. The struggle for power is finished. Now it is time for a merciless hunt. If Anne were someone without control, that letter would have been thrown onto the family dining table in a burst of anger. But Anne has the cold strength of a true fighter. Her enemy is not a weak partner who can be easily defeated. This is the person wearing the Queen's crown, protected by a strong media system that praises her day and night, and most importantly, the one who holds the heart of the current king. To attack such a person with only a letter filled with suspicion, even if it came from the Queen, would destroy Anne politically. Camilla could easily act like a victim of false accusations, and understands that she needs solid and undeniable proof, the kind of evidence so clear and damaging that no clever words can defend against it. Anne pulls herself back into the shadows. She uses the excuse of poor health and the need for quiet time to grieve her mother. She refuses all meetings. She locks herself inside her private study at St. James's Palace. All unnecessary calls are cut off. The door is locked tightly. Inside the closed room, filled with the strong smell of printer ink and bitter coffee, Anne personally goes through huge piles of internal financial reports. She uses her hidden power to collect records showing the full movement of all related charity funds over the past 5 years. Thousands of numbers and hundreds of unclear spending entries have been carefully hidden by Camilla and her team under well-written and official-sounding names. Macro Arts Education Funding, European Architectural Heritage Conservation, Strategic Partner Emergency Support Fund. These piles of documents are perfectly arranged, so neat and proper that they almost seem fake. The difference between the darkness inside and study and the bright, shining world around Camilla is deeply ironic. At this very moment, inside the Grand Hall of a national museum, Camilla stands under bright flashing lights. She wears a custom-made, expensive silk dress, and a diamond necklace shines on her neck, worth enough money to support a school for many years. Camilla calmly accepts respectful greetings from wealthy and powerful people, smiling as she lifts her glass of champagne and gives elegant speeches about dedication, kindness, and duty to society. She is completely lost in her own performance, enjoying the power and wealth, fully unaware that the hidden safe in Windsor's basement has already been opened. Her pride has blinded her, making her believe that her secret is impossible to discover. But lies, even when covered in beauty and luxury, always leave behind traces. And strong patience, as she carefully checks every number again and again until her eyes grow tired and blurry, finally breaks through that perfect cover. The tip of Anne's red marker presses down hard, drawing circles around 6 strange black marks across 6 different financial reports. These are not small losses. These are 6 huge withdrawals of money, broken into parts and carried out at very sensitive times, right when the royal family was busy dealing with other media scandals, when public attention and official checks were at their weakest. The total amount from these 6 transactions together reaches a shocking number. Over £12 million. £12 million of charity money has disappeared into nothing. The money was sent out from the main accounts under the excuse of payments for international projects, but it never reached any real conservation sites. The entire amount completely vanished from the records after passing through a chain of unknown temporary accounts. And stares at the red circles around the numbers. The strong physical proof is now starting to form. The thief has revealed her story of greed. But to bring this truth into the open and destroy Camilla's pride, Anne cannot depend only on missing numbers. She must find the person who directly pressed the button to carry out these dirty money transfers. She needs to catch the real hand controlling everything behind the scenes. And understands her limits clearly. Alone, with only a pile of carefully cleaned internal reports, she cannot break into a global money laundering system created by skilled and hidden financial experts. The strength of the royal family lies in influence and image. But to fight financial criminals, she needs real hunters from the dark world of money, and decides to build a secret alliance. The meeting place is not a bright palace, but a hidden apartment that is not connected to the royal name, located deep inside a quiet and empty residential area in suburban London. The curtains are tightly closed. All personal electronic devices are disabled before entering. The first person to walk through the door is the former royal chief accountant. He is an older man, with a worn and tired look, but his eyes are still sharp like a hawk's. He is someone who once gave complete loyalty to the late Queen, holding all the family's financial secrets for 30 years. However, as soon as Camilla took control of the fund, she used unfair political methods to push him aside, replacing him with a group of loyal followers. He brings with him the deep anger of a man who has been betrayed. More importantly, he carries a hard drive that contains all the original data backups, untouched and unchanged by Camilla's system. The second person to arrive is Anthony. Unlike the careful and quiet nature of the former accountant, Anthony gives off a cold and dangerous presence. He is not loyal to the royal family and does not care about politics or the crown. Anthony is an independent expert in tracking money flow, a well-known hunter in the world of global financial investigations, skilled in uncovering the hidden money networks of powerful people. And hired him using her own personal money, under a strict promise of complete secrecy. The three of them turn the small living room into a compact investigation center, working with the sharp focus and toughness of secret agents. There is no police involvement, no government agencies. This is a private cleaning operation, and it must be handled by royal rules. Bank records, balance papers, and complex charts showing money movement cover the walls. With the former chief accountant carefully checking every detail against financial rules, and Anthony aggressively tracing the paths through computer systems, the journey of the 12 million slowly begins to show its true shape. Once all the layers of disguise are removed, it becomes clear that the British charity money did not go directly into personal accounts in Switzerland. The truth is hidden much deeper. Tens of millions of pounds were broken apart and continuously sent into a network of 5 fake non-governmental organizations. These fake groups were registered under empty mailbox addresses in Eastern Europe, using misleading names like the Heritage Alliance Fund and the Global Art Preservation Organization. In these places, the money is moved again and again, cleaned through fake consulting deals and false invoices for materials. In the end, the full £12 million comes together, rushing toward one single narrow point on the financial map. Anthony quickly types the final commands on his keyboard. The sound of the keys clicking echoes sharply in the quiet room. The computer screen flashes as it breaks through the last security wall. It now shows the full legal registration details of a shell company that deals in asset management and luxury real estate investments. The official address is on a busy street in Spain, but in reality, it is only an empty path used to move money. Who is the registered owner of this useless company? And asks, her voice calm but carrying a sharp and deadly edge. Anthony zooms in on the company registration documents. A single name clearly appears on the operating licenses and on every final transfer order sent to the trust fund in Switzerland. Luke Collin. Anne's eyes become narrow. A faint smile, cold and distant, forms on her face. This name is far too familiar. Luke Collin is not some unknown real estate dealer. He is Camilla's closest personal financial advisor. He is the loyal helper, the trusted right hand who has followed her and cleaned up every financial problem since the days when she was still the other woman, before she officially entered the palace. Now everything is completely clear. There is no space left for doubt or excuses. The web of crime has been reduced to its center. The thief is not far away. She is sitting on the throne, using her trusted helper to openly steal public money. The key link has been revealed, and now only needs to destroy this key point. Luke Collin is a clever and careful man, always knowing how to avoid danger by hiding behind powerful people. His confidence comes from his strong belief that as long as Camilla wears the Queen's crown, he will never be touched. He is calmly enjoying the rewards of his dirty work, believing all evidence has been buried under layers of fake companies. But his cleverness means nothing against a sudden attack that comes without any warning. Evening falls, and thick London fog begins to fill the air. The underground parking area of the luxury apartment building where Colin lives is quiet like a graveyard. Weak yellow lights flicker on the ceiling, creating long, dark shadows. The sound of Colin's leather shoes echoes on the wet ground. He has just stepped out of the elevator, his fingers casually spinning the keys to a rare sports car, something bought with money taken from orphan children. Suddenly, he stops. His confident smile disappears at once. Princess Anne is standing, leaning against the front of his car. She wears a dark coat that blends into the shadows of the basement. There are no bodyguards, no police, no officials with her. There is only a deep and threatening silence, a heavy pressure filling the air. Anne's eyes lock onto him like a sharp weapon, cutting through every layer of his false confidence. "Your Royal Highness." Colin stutters, his heart missing a beat. A fake and forced smile quickly appears on his face, trying to hide the fear rising inside him. His eyes quickly move around, searching for some logical reason for this strange situation. Members of the royal family do not stand in underground parking areas. Anne does not respond to his greeting. She does not waste time on polite behavior. Her action is quick and strong. She swings her arm and throws a thick stack of documents hard onto the windshield of his expensive car. The dull sound echoes across the empty space. The file slides down and stops right in front of Colin's face. The first page he sees is a clear bank statement from the Shell company in Spain. The second page shows a long chain of money transfers going to a real estate trust fund in Switzerland. And the third page, the most important one, clearly shows the authorization signature of Luke Colin himself. Colin's whole body freezes, as if his blood has turned to ice. Every part of him feels the shock. The perfect image, the fake financial system he worked so hard to build, has been destroyed by just a stack of papers. Cold sweat runs down his back, soaking his expensive silk shirt. And steps forward, pushing him back against the car. The tight space of the parking area increases his fear to the highest level. He can feel the real danger coming from her. 12 million, Anne says, her voice cold, steady, and without any feeling, like a sharp blade cutting through bone. Money meant for hungry children, turned into luxury holiday villas. You thought this royal family was foolish. Your Highness, please, this is a misunderstanding, Colin says, shaking, his lips trembling. He tries to give weak excuses, holding tightly to any chance to save himself. These investments are completely legal. We are simply managing. Anne cuts him off with a look of deep disgust. She has no patience for such lies. I did not come to this dirty basement to listen to your excuses. You have exactly 20 seconds to decide how your story ends. She steps closer, speaking each word with strong control and power. First option. You take all the blame. You admit to international fraud and stealing money. All of your property will be frozen. Your name will be ruined. And you will spend the rest of your life rotting in prison as nothing more than a pathetic thief acting alone. Second option. You give me the name of the real person behind all of this, the one who ordered you to do this filthy work. You hand over every original record and every proof, and I will make sure you get on a one-way flight out of this country tonight, with your life still yours. There is nowhere left for him to run. Every escape path has already been blocked like solid walls of concrete. The 20 seconds pass slowly, hanging over him like a death sentence. Faced with undeniable proof and with his future completely in Princess Anne's hands, the false loyalty of a paid servant breaks apart instantly. His selfish survival instinct takes control. Colin knows the cruelty of this royal power game very well. If he keeps silent to protect Camilla, he will become the sacrifice in her place. And by tomorrow, the newspapers will simply report that he took his own life because of debt. He completely breaks. His legs suddenly give out beneath him, and he slides down, grabbing the side of the car to stop himself from collapsing to the floor. Tears of pure fear fill his eyes. His nose burns, his breathing becomes uneven, and when he finally speaks, his voice is broken and shaking. It was the Queen Consort, he stammers. Each word comes out painfully, as if he is forcing blood from his throat. All the transfers, all the fake companies across Europe, she personally ordered all of it. I swear, I only followed instructions. I didn't dare refuse her. I still have everything, the audio recordings of her calls, her text messages, all her direct orders. Anne takes half a step back. She looks down at the trembling man holding onto the car with complete disgust. The weakest but most important link in the chain has snapped. The final weapon she needs has now been placed in her hands. The trap is complete. Now the true thief must finally face judgment. The afternoon inside Buckingham Palace continues in its usual luxury. Camilla sits comfortably in her private drawing room lined with gold silk, slowly sipping tea from a cup with a golden edge. Just this morning, Luke Colin had informed her that the plan to purchase an ancient lakeside villa in Switzerland was moving forward perfectly. Everything seems safely under control. She smiles the calm and satisfied smile of someone who believes she stands at the very top, above all rules, beyond all consequences. But that feeling of power is destroyed in less than a second. A trusted maid suddenly rushes into the room. This is no ordinary servant. She is one of the secret watchers Camilla placed at Windsor Castle to keep track of family activity. Her face is completely pale, drained of color. Leaning close, she whispers something into Camilla's ear. The message strikes like an explosion. The hidden safe beneath the floor of the Windsor archive room has been forced open. And everything inside is gone. The smile instantly disappears from Camilla's face. The calm and graceful mask she wears for the world shatters at once, replaced by pure fear. Her breath catches sharply in her throat. That safe contained the one thing capable of destroying her completely. The late Queen's letter, written in red ink. The single piece of evidence powerful enough to strip away her crown and throw her down into disgrace. Camilla does not need to guess for long who has taken it. Only Princess Anne would ever dare enter that forbidden room. In a burst of panic, Camilla sweeps everything from the table. Cups crash to the floor. Tea spills across the carpet. She rushes to the heavy wooden door and locks it twice, sealing herself inside. The royal image is gone. The proud queen is now nothing more than a cornered thief desperately trying to survive. She grabs her private secure phone and enters a secret number sequence that connects directly to a team of lawyers skilled in protecting financial criminals. She does not waste even a second on formal greetings. Her voice comes through the line low, shaking, and full of cruelty. Destroy it. Destroy everything. The command comes out like a storm. She orders the immediate deletion of every sensitive financial record connected to the European Cultural Heritage projects. Every email, every transfer record, every storage server linked to the companies in Spain and Switzerland must be erased and made to disappear completely. But fear is clouding her thinking. Camilla knows papers and files can be destroyed. But people can still talk. Wanting to silence every possible threat, she quickly grabs the phone again and calls the Human Resources Department of the Charity Fund directly. With the most harsh, urgent, and reckless order possible, Camilla demands that 3 senior financial employees be fired immediately. These are the same people who first handled the money transfer orders. There is no time given for transition, no compensation, no warning. They are thrown out of the building that very same afternoon. After finishing this wild and desperate chain of actions, Camilla falls back onto the velvet sofa. Her chest rises and falls heavily, her forehead covered in cold sweat. She fixes her messy hair, trying to calm herself, convincing her mind that she acted quickly enough. The files have been destroyed. The witnesses have been removed. There is no longer any link between those illegal transactions and her royal position. Camilla closes her eyes, believing the danger has passed. She tells herself that the darkness has fully hidden her crime. She believes her cruel and desperate actions have buried the truth forever. But she makes one critical mistake. As someone from an older generation, she greatly underestimates the quiet power of modern royal security systems. This becomes her fatal weakness, the single mistake that turns everything against her. Inside the hidden suburban apartment, Anthony sits in front of a wall of glowing computer screens. The former chief accountant and Princess Anne stand close behind him. Suddenly, the network monitoring graphs on Anthony's screens begin flashing rapidly. A huge amount of data is being forcefully erased from the charity fund's internal systems. Someone is trying to clean up the evidence. Anthony gives a slight smile. His fingers move quickly over the keyboard. But the person doing this is too rushed, too desperate. They do not realize one important fact. The royal server system is protected by a secret cybersecurity protocol, one that Camilla's team was never allowed to access. Whenever a large amount of data is suddenly deleted, the system automatically activates a hidden backup process. Every piece of erased data is instantly copied and stored in a secure cloud system controlled by the core security division. But the strongest evidence does not come from the recovered data itself. It comes from the identity of the person who ordered its deletion. Anthony pulls up the system access records. The command to destroy the entire database did not come from some unknown account. It did not come from a low-level employee. It came directly from a personal IP address linked to a secure device inside Queen Camilla's private drawing room. Her own desperate attempt to erase the truth has left behind a massive digital trail. Clear. Direct. Impossible to deny. That act of destruction has turned into a perfect confession. It proves she knew about the illegal money and used her authority to try to hide it. And looks down at the printed report showing the IP address and the command details. Camilla, in her panic, has trapped herself with her own actions. Every piece of the case now fits together perfectly, leaving no room for excuses. The statement from Luke Collin. The bank records from Spain. And now the digital proof showing the cover-up. The case is complete. and gathers all the documents and places them neatly into a black leather envelope. There is no sign of victory on her face, only the cold calm of someone ready to deliver judgment. She walks out of the hidden apartment with steady and determined steps, heading straight toward the palace. It is time to expose the truth. Inside King Charles's private study, the air feels heavy and suffocating with silence. The beautifully carved oak door closes firmly, cutting off the room from the outside world. There are no officials, no guards, only those who carry the honor and future of the royal family. King Charles sits behind his large desk, his face tense and serious. Prince William stands in the shadows near a bookshelf, his arms crossed, his eyes sharp and watchful. Princess Anne stands in the center of the room, holding the black leather envelope. Camilla enters. She still tries to appear calm and royal, dressed perfectly, her head held high. She looks around the room, forcing a polite smile, acting as if she has been called here without reason. She prepares to speak, ready to use gentle words to ease the tension. But before she can say anything, Anne slams the black leather envelope onto the desk. The act is finished, Camilla. Anne's voice is firm and cold, carrying no respect for the title, only clear and open contempt. She removes the documents one by one, spreading them across the desk in front of King Charles and Camilla. Every number, every recorded IP address from the cloud backup, every financial trail leading directly to Spain. Finally, the signed confession report, marked with the fingerprint of Luke Collin, is placed on the table. Everything now reveals the ugliest truth. A total of £4.2 million of charity money, taken as direct personal profit, has been smoothly transferred into Camilla's private trust fund in Switzerland. In a single moment, Camilla's proud and perfect image is completely destroyed. She looks down at the documents. Her eyes open wide, her pupils shrinking in shock. Her throat becomes dry and tight. She opens her mouth, ready to deny everything, ready to place the blame on Luke Collin. But when she sees the printed record showing her own personal IP address carrying out the data deletion command, her voice disappears. There is no escape. Her pride, her carefully built image, collapses completely. Camilla stands frozen in place, her body shaking slightly. She turns her eyes toward King Charles, silently begging for help. But the only thing she receives in return is a cold stare filled with deep disappointment and burning anger. This betrayal is powerful enough to destroy the reputation of the entire royal family, making them look like nothing more than a group of thieves in the eyes of the public if the truth becomes known. Wanting to protect the family's image, but refusing to excuse the crime, King Charles shows no mercy. There is no forgiveness. There is no peaceful agreement. Charles rises to his feet, his voice strong and heavy like a hammer striking down. You have destroyed the legacy of this family. You stole from the poor to build luxury homes for yourself. The punishment is given immediately. Camilla is ordered to sell all of her hidden personal assets at once and return the full £4.2 million back to the charity fund. Her accomplice, Luke Collin, is forced to leave the country that very night and is permanently banned from ever returning. But the harshest punishment is not about money. It is about power. It is about attention. Camilla lives for the spotlight. She lives for public admiration. And King Charles takes all of it away. Starting tomorrow, you will have no public duties at all, Charles declares in a cold voice. Camilla loses every right to appear in public. She is removed from Buckingham Palace and taken to a distant and isolated estate in Scotland. She is forced to disappear completely from all public events for the next 180 days. To prevent public panic and protect the royal image, an official explanation is prepared. The Queen Consort will step away from duties due to declining health and the need for treatment. Camilla lowers her head. Tears of shame and helplessness fall down her face, ruining her perfect makeup. She has nothing left to say. Only silence remains. The door of the Scottish estate closes heavily behind her. The sound of the lock echoes sharply. Camilla stands by the window, looking out at the empty grey land. She is trapped inside a prison without visible bars, where her power is gone and her voice no longer matters. Her arrogance has been completely broken. Outside, the royal world continues moving forward. But she is left alone, facing deep isolation and a permanent mark of disgrace. The Queen's final wish has been fulfilled. Her endless greed has led her to her own downfall. King Charles chose to take her wealth and place her under house arrest, hiding the truth instead of exposing her to public judgment and legal punishment. Do you think this decision shows the strong and firm action of a king protecting his throne, or is it simply the weak choice of a husband trying to hide the truth? Will people accept this outcome? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it.